guys, welcome back, welcome back. It's magazine night tonight. I was going to actually do a race video tonight. I felt more like doing a magazine. So let's get into it. Tonight we are going to do BMX action. This one's April 1987. It's going to cover the ABA Grand Nationals. That's obviously in Oklahoma. We're going to have a scooter shootout in here and doing tricks with Woody. So a pretty simple cover, but I love it. We got Greg Hill doing it on Robinson, and that's just a great shot of Greg. I've used this as a thumbnail in other videos, and it's just a really cool shot. I think it was a good move for Greg to go from running his own company and trying to do GHP and then trying to be a double A pro at the same time. I think it was a really good move for him to focus mainly on just his racing, and things worked out for him on Robinson, as we all know. And this was 87, and he had a couple really good seasons running for Robinson. And I looked up some fun facts for 1987. So the weird thing about 1987 is the compact CD player just came out. So a CD player came out in 1987. I didn't own my first CD player until the year after. It was 1988. I graduated from high school. My mom and dad bought me a brand new, like a rack stereo system, which I actually still have. And hold on, I'll show you. I just realized the lighting's really bad in here, but I still have my rack stereo system. It's a Technique system, and it has virtually everything that you would expect to see in the 80s on it. You know, let me turn the music down. But it has it had the compact disc player on the bottom, and of course the dual cassette tapes, the equalizer, and these massive speakers. So I've literally have had this stereo system since 1988. It'll probably always be with me. Let's get back to the magazine though. All right, so getting back to it, another fun fact about 1987 is, as far as the movie theater was concerned, I always try to look at movies because movies interest me a lot. So in 1987, Predator was #1. We had Dirty Dancing, and then Overboard that had Goldie Hawn in it. Jaws: The Revenge, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I think that's like the third Jaws, maybe the second, I don't know. We have Spaceballs. Spaceballs was ridiculously funny. The Lost Boys was kind of like a, what do you call it, kind of a vampire movie, if I remember right. I think Kiefer Sutherland was in that, if I remember right. And then we have Lethal Weapon. Now, Lethal Weapon movies, always been some of my favorite movies, and I think there's one that's in the works right now. I believe I've been reading a lot of stuff about it. As far as who made the most at the box office in 1987, John Candy, Chevy Chase, Danny DeVito, and Sylvester Stallone. Funny to see that Sylvester's down on, #4, because he was like a huge action star, and in the 80s, action stars were having these huge battles between, like, let's say Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, and then we had all the the karate guys. So you had Steven Seagal, and we had Jean-Claude Van Damme. Man, 80s were just corny, but I loved them. And then let's keep going. Black Monday hit. It was a stock market crash that happened October 19th, 1987. So it was literally about 6 months after this magazine came out. And then as far as toys are concerned, these are some of the top toys that were available in 1987, or the most popular, I should say, in 1987. And we had a Cush ball. I have no idea what that is. There was an Alf doll that talked, the Gem doll, and then we had laser tag. That's funny. Pound puppies, G.I. Joe action figures, Cabbage Patch dolls were still really popular, and Nintendo NES. So I bought my Nintendo NES, I think it was like around this time, about 87. So that was pretty state of the art. It's kind of equivalent to what you would think a PS5 is, today. And before I get into the magazine, I want to just take a moment. I realized that Harry Larry passed away in 1980. I'm sorry, I don't know why I was going to say 87. Harry Larry passed away on September 7th, and I just wanted to express my condolences to his family. He was a superstar in our sport. We all know he had some struggles, but overall he was a legend, an icon, a Hall of Famer. He had it all. So I don't know the gist of how he died. I know it was something about the heat exhaustion, but again, very sorry for his family's loss, and he's going to be missed always. So let's get into the magazine. Let's enjoy it, and I'll see you guys. To decide who's the winner. Professional Harry
Harry Leary talk to us about how he's going to approach the final.
I myself like the track. I think it's great. It's, you know, we're racing bicycle motocross, and I consider this a motocross track, so I'm enjoying it.
You have a special strategy that you can divulge for how you're going to race?
Well, on this track, there's really no room to do a lot of passing. Okay, so my strategy is to get in the best start I can, get out in front, and don't let anybody get under me. If you leave a little opening on the inside, somebody's going to come under you and maybe take you to the top of the berm. You're not going to be able to pedal. Sometimes that can cost you 3 or 4 positions. And going from first to fifth, that's like almost $1,000 mistake, and I'm not into making those kind of mistakes.
Okay, let's see how he does. This is the first race of the 3-race final for the pros. Oh, look at that. Stu Thompson caught a hay bale. He started in lane 1. May have been injured on that one. He's certainly out of this race. Harry Leary's out in front in this first heat. He looks in good shape. He'll take advantage of that mistake. All but one of the 8 pro riders in this final is from the United States. Veteran Stu Thompson's up now, but he looks a bit on the shaken side. And Leary's going to take this one out. This is the second pro main. Harry Leary's first into that corner again. And right beside him is his Diamondback Factory teammate Edward King. These 2 guys are all alone already. Leary and King out in front. They're going to take this one out themselves. See if there's any battling between the 2 of them. Whoops, there goes inside. King on the inside takes out Leary. So it looks like the teammates have their own rivalries going, but the Diamondback teammates take out first and second in the stop. This is the final pro main. Harry Leary going for the championship in this one. All he needs is a good placing to capture the Kuahara Canada Cup. The racers are awarded 1 point for a first, 2 points for a second, and so on. The racer with the least amount of points after 3 races is the winner. Right now, Leary has just 3 points, and he's in second spot in this race right now behind Diamondback teammate Ed King. It looks like that's the way it's going to finish. Edward King first, Harry Leary second, and Scott Clark in third. So Leary will win the Kuahara Canada Cup and the money that goes with it. So I guess you could say Harry Leary found his pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Because I've been getting good starts all day, and I didn't want to change anything. So I did exactly what I was doing, you know, all day long, and came out of the gate really good. I was in first, and Scott Clark ran in the back of me going into the second turn. Caused me to lose a lot of speed. I went, you know, from everything to about nothing. And Eddie went around me again, but I ended up winning with the second in that race. So it felt really good, you know. I was really happy with my performance, and I just hope that this weekend I'll be able to do the same.
And for the pros, the stakes are high.
Yeah. Payday.
All right, let's get into it. So we've already looked at the cover. This is, like I said, very, very epic cover. And I have mentioned this before in previous magazine reviews. When they do these berm roosts like this, I think these make for some of the raddest pictures. And the funny thing is just about anybody that's got reasonable bike handling skills could probably pull off like a power slide or whatever you want to call it. But it makes for the coolest pictures. And in the body English, though, that Greg is displaying here in this picture is really cool. I mean, he's positioned perfectly. You can see he's got the bike pitched to the side here. Foot position's perfect. He's dragging his other foot right here. His left foot's dragging. This is just a really good shot, and it really displays his sponsor very well. You can see Dyno everywhere, Robinson everywhere, and just really, really well done. All right, let's crack into the magazine itself. So we're in the inside ad, and as always, we got Haro on the inside ad. This is the Haro Group 1 RS1, Danny Milwee, Mike King, and Pete Lonkarovich. It's a great shot. Don't know what they're looking at exactly, but it is a really cool shot. We got Deer Gork, Dirt, Freestyle How-To, Neighborhood Spin, testing the new CW, Z1500, BMX Action Special Report for the scoots. So those are the scooters. I probably won't spend a lot of time on that, but we'll look at it. We got the Tune, and the Tune is a comic book strip that they put into BMX Action, so they can rival Radical Rick. But you know, Radical Rick probably rules or dominated the whole comic strip for BMX is concerned, but still pretty cool. We got racing the 9th annual ABA Grands. It's sponsored by GT and Varney sunglasses, which I love Varney sunglasses. And then finally we have our outtakes with New Wave Jumping Part 2. And then of course on the cover it was Greg Hill. And then on this page, Florida Star in the Making, Mike Moore. Knocking it down. That's a great shot of Mike right there. All right, let's get moving. All right, so we got our typical ads on the inside cover. We got the CW ad right here. Looks like Chicken George Sievers right there, or that could be Jason Donnell. That's Jason Donnell. Very sorry, Jason. Great shot. He was a young guy then, running the sew-up wheels. Really, really good shot. Got the Scott mask. I had one of those as well at one point. Visor riser, Echo helmet, Vans. Love it. Should have had some black Vans, Jason. Let's keep going. Okay, we got MT Racing. So we got the Fox up here on the top, which is the race version of their bicycle. And then we got the freestyle version down here called the Trick Fox. Now the race bike itself looks a little bit like a Redline with the way the handlebars are shaped. It looks much like a forklifter bar that you would see on Redline, but it's got a really cool look, a little knee saver look. The stem looks a little reminiscent of Redline as well. But the bike itself is pretty well put together. The freestyle bike is more expensive, so you can pick up the Fox for $194.95, but the Trick Fox is $249.95. You know, from an ignorant sense of view, I'm looking at it, it's just because of the components, I'm assuming, with the POTS mod on there and so forth. This bike was probably a little more expensive to produce than the basic race bike, but I would definitely have taken the race bike over the freestyle bike any day. We got first class BMX. Let's take a look at some of the prices. I like to do that from time to time. You can get a GT Pro frame and fork at the time for $129.95. The Hutch Pro was $138.95. The Hutch Hollywood was only $1 more at $139.85. The Hutch Trickstar $154.95. Once again, freestyle frames are costing a little bit more. Skyway TA was $128.91, and that sounds about right, I believe. And now this is first class BMX's prices, and at this stage I had already moved on to a Haro, but I paid about $139, I think. Well, it was just under $140 because I remember I had a little over $100 that I put towards that frame. My mom paid the difference, and so I remember that. Okay, let's keep moving. Diamondback. We got the Dalmatian in here. Of course, we got Mike Dominguez. Interesting to see Mike doing a ground trick here, but then you see him in his natural habitat here, knocking out that aerial out the pipeline. That's a great shot. Here's another great shot of Mike right here as well. I love that he always ran Tough Wheels. I thought that was really cool. All right, what do we got here? Dear Gork. Okay, so let's check out Dear Gork. Let's read one of these. This one's titled Mean Mom. Dear Gork. My mom yells at me because all I ever do is ride my GT. She also takes my bike away from me even though she didn't pay 1 cent for it. And that's from Brandale Markey from York, Pennsylvania. What's Gork say? He says, geez, I can't believe that. Tell your mom that if she wants to go riding, she would have to buy her own bike. That's from Gork. Pretty simple response to that. Let's read one more. Okay, self-destructing shirts. Dear Gork. I would like to complain about you advertising the California Condor collection. Most of their stunt shirts seem to display violence, self-destruction, and a strange fantasism to bike yourself to death. We parents would hope that safety and level-headedness would be a part of our son's biking and skating. That came from Patricia Lincock out of Paradise, Pennsylvania. Another Pennsylvanian. And what does Gork say? What can I say? I myself wear a Ride Your Brains Out shirt that I bought from CCC. But that doesn't mean I'm going to actually do it. I mean, get serious, Patricia. How am I going to ride my brains out? I've tried, but it just hasn't happened yet. Gork. Pretty simple response from Gork, but also pretty funny. Okay, let's keep on moving. We got a great Robinson ad here with Greg Hill and it looks like Danny Nelson. There's a new frame to beat in BMX, but the name is not new to racing. It's been around as long as the sport itself has, and the name to beat is Robinson. So Robinson is for the serious racers only. Great shot. Love the lighting in the background, of course. They're shaded, but you can still see the bike here, and of course you can see the sunset Very realistic looking. I like it. Okay, let's keep moving. We got dirt. So what's going on here? A unique thing about the Donnell family, they left it pretty much up to Jason to decide to ride for GT or CW. Wow, that's a massive decision for a youngster. GT wanted him badly. We're pushing a bit too hard for a quick answer, so Jason decided to stay loyal and stay on CW. That's awesome. I never knew that. So let's take a look at some of the pro rosters that were going on in April of '87. Factory GT, Gary Ellis was their pro. Kevin Hull was their second pro. Terry Tonette was still on GT technically, and he was running 17X. Ricky Gilbert, 15X. David Milham, 14X. George Sievers, 13X. Mike Luna, 11X. And they had one girl racing for, that was Michelle Gibson. For Factory CW, John Anderson was the pro. Mr. C, old man, not sure who Mr. C is, sorry guys. Sean Riblett was the 17X. Steve Dillard, 16X. Bubba McIntosh, 14X. Justin Donnell, 12X. Jason Donnell, 11X. Inhee Lee was 10X. Oh, I'm sorry, it was Justin Green, excuse me, sorry guys. Inhee Lee, 10X, and then Chris Gibson, 9X. But here's a weird thing. So CW and GT got a pretty large roster in '87, but Hutch only had Eric Carter as 16X, Chris Backus 15X, and Todd Lyons 14X. Now I know they're going to add pros to this, but that's where they were at the time. Let's take a look. Let's keep on moving here. To make up for Lou's mistake, here's Rob Sears at Thorland. What grace, what style? Oh, so this is Rob Sears. So nobody expected Dennis Balch and Rob Sears to be noticed it. And I mean, if you, wait a minute, let's start again. Nobody expect Dennis Balch and Rob Sears noticed it. I mean, you'd never know that Lou called the wrong dude by the wrong name unless we said something so. In the Thorland article, February '87, the 2-page black and white shot of some dude wearing cutoff shorts, cutoff sweats, a Boss jersey, and getting totally tabled was Rob Sears. No relation to the department store. He's also the one that was dicing it out with Swifty on page 40. All right, so they made up for the misprint on the name. But hey, let's face it, man. If you got your shot to be in BMX action, the last thing you want to see is your name put in there incorrectly. So hats off to BMX Action for doing that. Oh, let's take a look at this. This is interesting. Which BMX racing magazine do you feel is best overall? 74% of us said BMX Action, 25% picked BMX Plus, and 1% picked BMX Super BMX. Wow, 1%. That seems really low. Which BMX racing magazine do you read? 93% said BMX Action, 63% said BMX Plus, and 28% said Super BMX. Now, before I keep reading this, I want to say I have nothing against the other publications. I read BMX Action, I read BMX Plus, I read Super BMX. I virtually read anything that had to do with BMX. Was BMX Action probably number one? I'd say so. But looking at this, there's really no comparison. It's what do you prefer, in my opinion. But I can understand why BMX Action is winning all these categories. Which BMX racing magazine do you subscribe to? 37% said BMX Action, 19% said BMX Plus, and finally 3% was Super BMX. Which BMX racing magazine do you buy off the newsstand? 45% said BMX Action, 35% said BMX Plus, and then 15% said Super BMX. Now, I can say, being a guy that subscribed every once in a while, most of the time I did buy it off the newsstand. So I definitely represented that 45%er there because I was always buying them. I was always walking through drugstores, liquor stores, wherever to look for these magazines. We've seen this ad before. I think this is one of my favorite ads for that Mongoose did. It's very 80s looking, and it was reminiscent of that TV show, which now I'm drawing a blank to. But they definitely are rocking that 80s look, and with that Ferrari there, love it, Mongoose, California. And I know the TV show is going to come back to me in like 10 seconds, but let's not worry about that. We got Vans ad here, California Hot, all skateboards. And then what do we got here? GT and Freestyle, 2 American originals. So Freestyle is still really, really big. You can see they're doing big 2-page ads. GT jumped on the bandwagon with some of the best riders, Josh White on this one here. And just a comment, the way Josh is dressed here is pretty much what I wore every single day. I mean, with the exception of these Dino shoes, I had Vans on, t-shirt, and 501 jeans virtually every day. This is with a Swatch watch. Yeah, that's pretty much my that was my high school attire for 4 years. So that's pretty funny to see that. The neighborhood spin. This is done by Woody Itson. Woody's still riding and still rad, and I see him like on Facebook and other platforms like that. And this is when he was on Diamondback. I was reading on Facebook, as a matter of fact, about Woody, and he said that when he joined Diamondback, Harry Larry was not a big fan of freestyle, but they grew to be really good friends, and he said some really nice things about him, so that was really cool. Let's keep going. Oh, this is another shot. This is a great shot. Not an illusion, not a jump, a bunny hop. We just thought we'd throw it in since it was so rad. Not too shabby for a freestyler, Woody. But Woody's got great tuck right here on that bunny hop on that heavy Diamondback freestyle bike, but he's still breaking loose on a really decent bunny hop right there. Woody is a good racer, though. That's what I heard on the Dirty Knobs podcast anyway. Let's keep on going. We got more ads here. Pro Stick Fireworks free catalog from JT Racing. And what is this? Have you joined the biggest, largest buyers group? What is that? Become part of the largest BMX buying group in the world. Buy your frames, wheels, parts way below retail. Oh, I guess you can buy things wholesale if you join the buyers group. I guess this would have been more for like bike shops and things like that, and you had to pay for this. You had to pay a fee to do it, I guess. I don't know. Let's keep moving. Got some great t-shirts here. Whoa, okay, I love these. Okay, this is a cool ad, but this is a skateboard ad. Let's just jump right over to Diz. How cool was Diz? I mean, again, freestyle, but I think this dude was super rad. I love his ads. He got that D. Snyder look going on. He was really super cool and super rad on the kick ramps. And this is the kind of things that he would do. I've seen some videos of him just tearing it up. So that's the CW freestyle team. That's pretty sick. Let's keep on going. The Adventures of Mad Dog, aka the CW Z1500 test. Oh, they made like a little comic strip out of them doing the testing out the CW. These are great shots though. They're going down some stairs here, little wheelie action here, little puddle action here. We all did this as kids, the little power slides into the puddles. Look at the little CRX in the background. That's awesome. Little bunny hop action, and look, he's getting the flatty here, one-footed too. These little curbs right here, guys, I'm gonna say, anytime I would see a curb setup like this, that was a tabletop in my mind, and we would jump these things all day long. Part of my main transportation was my BMX bike, so I would ride this thing my bikes everywhere, and along the way, you had your makeshift BMX tracks. Anything you think you could jump, you would hit it. And to this day, guys, I'm like in my 50s. I'll be driving in my car and I'll see a transition like this, and I'm like, ooh, I could hit that. All right, let's keep on going. Oh, this is going to keep going. This is the whole test that they did in this format. So this is really cool. He's got a wall ride going on here, little boosting here, and he's crashing here in the sand. Man, they beat the crap out of this CW. This is really, really awesome. Okay, let's turn the page. See, oh wow, look at that. They're still going. We got Sean Riblett, and then we've got Steve Dillard up here, all factory riders. And here's your CW your 1987 Z1500. That is really clean looking. Oh, check it out. They're racing through the puddles here. I love this shot. This is really, really cool. This is one of the coolest tests I think I've ever seen. The way they laid this out, I really like it. All right, let's keep. You know what? I'm going to mention something really quick too. These are black and white photos, but the CW racing uniform, the color combinations, and just the way the uniform looked, I always thought they looked really, really cool. Okay, let's keep going. Here's some of the specs on the bike itself. So the complete bike was only $189. Man, what a steal. Less than 200 bucks. And they were doing some damage on this bike. The age range is going to go from 12 to 13 years old with the straight seat post, 14 years to possibly 17 years old if you put a laid back seat post on it. But we know all the frames were pretty short back then. But really, really cool looking bike overall. Looks like we got a Converse comic ad here. which is really cool because they're utilizing BMX, even though the bike looks kind of funky. Got some skateboard action going on in there. And then, uh-oh, here we go. Special report, Scoot Scene, April 1987. So this is, I think they're really trying to push the scooter rage at that time. And these things, I never really understood what the popularity was of these things, but they were massive. But now I look at it and people are still riding scooters to this day and they can do some incredible things on them. So this was the beginning of it all. And I didn't realize it, but I guess you got to thank BMX for all the scooter stuff that you see, as of today. We've got the 8 Action Sports had one, CW, More Scooters, General had one, GT had one, ACS, General had another one, Torker had one. Wow, I didn't realize that, and GT had another one right here. So everybody was in the game. And I mean, I guess they were pretty fun. I don't know. Now you can buy these things and they're electric. And these things haul ass. I see them all the time going through my neighborhood when I'm, taking bike rides and walks. I see them all over the place. We got an Odyssey ad here. Pretty good shot. Pretty good shot. These, I've had a set of these. Don't know about this bike. What is that, a Predator? I have no idea. It says, wow, I don't know what that is. It's definitely a freestyle bike. I don't recognize it. More scooters here, and then we have the General ad. So R.L. Osborne made the jump from Redline to General bicycles, and if you're going to sponsor somebody, R.L. would have been one of the greatest guys to sponsor because obviously he's photogenic, he promotes the products well, and he was super well known. So good move for General to pick up R.L. And he's still got the Redline flights though. Best cranks ever. Let's keep going. Damn, more scooter stuff. Road Warrior for more scooter stuff. The whole thing is just dedicated to scooters at this stage. Everybody was involved. Wow. I didn't even look through this magazine, guys, until I just sat it down today. So I don't really remember it. I definitely would remember all this scooter stuff that was going on, but I simply just don't remember it. I feel the need for speed. Pro Reflex from Raleigh Bicycles. It's a cool ad because you got these jet fighters and then there's a Raleigh up here in the middle. That's really cool. That's a great ad. Another one, Pro Reflex. These wheel covers. Oh my God, such a waste. Such a waste of money. I don't but hey, whatever. It is what it is. Let's keep going. We got the tune. So this is something that I think Bob Harrow did all the art on this. So you have to admire, just for a second, the artwork of Bob Harrow. I'm not going to read this entire comic, but just check it out. And I saw Bob in my last video, you guys probably saw when I was at Frogtown. I got a chance to talk to Bob Harrow for just a second, and he had all these t-shirts up. And I said, Bob, is this all your artwork? And he goes, yeah, that's all my artwork. And you can buy the t-shirts. He has his own shoe line out. And while I was there talking to him, I said, Bob, is there any chance you're going to do another run on those helmets? Because he had this Bell helmet thing where he ran a little series of open face helmets. And he said, we're working on something. So I thought that was super cool. And I probably will pick one up if he does do another run. Because those helmets look super trick. And I really regret not buying one. So hopefully this time around I can get one. Let's keep going. Oh, what is this bike here? We got a Schwinn freestyle bike. Man, freestyle everywhere. This frame makes little to no sense to me. I mean, all these extra stuff on here. But, that was freestyle, and it was the 80s, and everybody loved that stuff. Okay, let's keep going. Another skateboard ad, Just Say No, Toby Henderson, Gork, Eddie Fiola, Kevin Hull, Ron Wilkerson, Doug Davis, Mark Lumen, R.L. Osborne, Harry Larry, Bob Osborne, Stu Thompson, Andy Jenkins, and finally Bob Harrow. Very cool ad. Okay, let's keep on going. All right, we made it. Okay, here we go. We're in the ABA Grands. Now, this is only the 9th annual ABA Grands. Great shot of Pete. He's on the Harrow Group 1. I love this kit. This color combination is just perfect. You can see he's rocking the porn stash here. I'm just messing with you, Pete. And he's got the eye of the tiger now. He's looking back to see where the competition is. This is just a great shot. It's rare to catch an action shot like this. Mid-turn peeking. Look at the eyes. The pic titled "Where's Ronnie" sums up the 86 Grands. Pete had to look behind all weekend to see the comp. You know what that means? Pistol Pete is the new ABA National #1 Pro. That's beautiful. Love it. Love it. All right, let's keep on going. All right, here we go. Look at this shot. Now, this is great. So we got Doug Davis here, Matt Hayden, Eric Carter, Mike King, Billy Griggs, Charles Townsend, Danny Milwee, Kevin Hull. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, these guys are all amateurs at the time. So this is probably one of the most stacked gates that you would ever see. I mean, even by today's standard, these guys are killing it. No, I mean, I'm telling you right now, if these guys are all a little bit older than me, not much at all, maybe within a year or two older, I would be probably back here. That's how fast all these guys were. I love looking at all the equipment. You got the Haro plates, the red line plate. I don't know, that doesn't look like a crit plate. And then we got the dyno. I look at everything when I'm looking at these photos. We got Eric Carter with that weird Echo helmet. I love the lightning bolts on the Echo helmet for Billy Griggs. That Redline kit was sick, by the way. And of course, Hutch always looks super, super, super cool. And we got GT. I love the yellow. And then Diamondback, man, you just can't mistake. And this whole shot, I really wish this was a color photo because this is just a great shot. The anatomy of a loaded gate. And I'm telling you guys, this is a really impressive shot. It says here we got Richie Anderson. Richie showed up in the Spiff and Bright colors. He was on the Spinners team at the time. And then we had, it looks like Pedal Power team down here. They got the team trophy. Let's keep going. Oh, here we go. Look at this one. So let's take a look. Prelude, Eric Carter was in the points lead for the #1 amateur. Matt Hayden was riding in #2 spot, 22 points behind Eric. Both of them made the 16X main. Being that this was the Grands, 40 points separated each place, meaning whoever got first would win the title. Oh, wow. Epilogue. Todd Mitchell, 1A, got the whole shot with Eric right here in the peak of the second jump leading into the first turn. Matt, #5, on the outside third with heavy pressure from our man Chris Muller, the yellow and blue blur on the inside. So that's Chris Muller back there. Coming out of the first turn, Muller swooped the inside and had second place for a second before getting repassed by Mitchell. Matt was struggling in fourth, but then came the second turn, home of many major munches. Mitchell slid out, Eric just barely escaping the wrath while all 6 riders piled on top of Mitchell. Eric rode away with a big grin on his face, knowing that he was the new ABA #1 amateur. Awesome. Man, not only is this picture amazing, but do you guys see how descriptive the whole story on the bottom of the photo? Now you realize this is just like a paragraph, but it basically summarized the entire race. So as a kid in the 80s, you could read this and visualize what's happening, because remember, there's no video of it that I had at the time. I'm assuming that somewhere in my YouTube channel, I've probably covered this race, but it's weird that you could read this and visualize, especially being a racer, you know exactly what they're talking about here. So I think that's really, really well done. National #1 ABA Cruiser, Matt Hayden. He won the Cruiser title. That's awesome. Let's keep on going here. Oh man, I think we're running out of pages, guys. What do we got here? Okay, you know how some guys will always be in the mains, even winning a few now and then, but never know who they are. That's Steve Dillard's life story. With CW colors, though, he stood out, 3rd in open, 6th in expert. And then look at this shot here of Mr. Bill himself, Billy Griggs. That is awesome, man. This pic dedicated to all the nice folks in New Madison, Ohio. You know who that is. And Eddie Sigmund. Weird to see Eddie not on Skyway Tough Wheels. Check that out. Sorry, it's a little bit hard to see. Sorry about that, but that's a great shot. And then we have, of course, got a little freestyle show going on here. One of the GT guys. Friday night's Honda Super Cup was the most successful, spectacular event for BMX race. in history of ABA. 4,500 people, wow, were there. Maybe having a GT freestyle team and Chris Lashua and Dennis Langlis doing the intermission shows helped. Wow, that's awesome. I didn't even know that happened. That's really cool. And right now, I mean, if you watch the ABA Grands, or USA BMX Grands, I should say, and it's really a good show. I mean, I wake up on Thanksgiving morning realizing, hey, I'm going to eat some great food, but more importantly, I can watch the Grands. So I always tune in and watch the Grands, and then I look forward to Friday night's Pro Spectacular. It's like I can't wait to watch it, you know, and it never disappoints. I love watching it. Okay, look at this. Now, this is awesome. We just lost Harry. This is just a great shot. I mean, he's got so many epic photos. I was the moment I found out that he passed away, my cousin James actually had texted me. I was outside doing some yard work, and he goes, "Oh man, did you hear Harry Larry passed away?" And I said, "Man, are you sure?" And he goes, "I think so." And I'm telling you guys, within minutes, it was just all over Facebook, man. And it was there's so many great photos of Harry. So let's read what it says here. Here's Harry Larry. Second place finisher at the Honda Super Cup, which meant custom trailer courtesy of Main Jets Trailers. Pete on the outside of Harry won the Super Cup in Honda Reflex motor scooter. Then 2 days later, Peter won the ABA number 1 Pro with a Chevy S10 that went with the title. Can you guess how Harry got his trailer home? Easy. Harry was seen dropping Pete off at the airport in the truck with the Reflex tied down to the back, hauling a trailer behind. Pete grabbed his baggage and gave Harry one last warning, and this better not have one scratch on it, not one. That's really cool. Great shot here of Jason Donnell and Stephen McLeod looking, oh man, they got the flashes hitting him right in the face. And that is really, really cool. These are great shots. Never disappoint. I love getting the Grands magazines. And then here's a good shot here. For the first big year of chasing the circuit, Glenn Pavlovsky can't complain too much. Oh, he bogged in his semi and didn't make the main, which put him out of the running for number 1 amateur. And talks with Mongoose aren't looking too hot, but overall he can't complain too much. That's great. Oh man, let's take a look at the results. So Pete Lonkarevich won AA Pro. Sean Texas picked up second. Ron Anderson picked up third. And then here's the weird thing about the payouts, though. You got $1,600 for first place, $1,680. Ronnie Anderson finished third, and the purse dropped all the way to $500. Kind of low for the Grands, in my opinion, but that's kind of a result of like the popularity of the sport and freestyle booming. Hans Nissan was next. He picked up $420. Then Gary Ellis, $330. Todd Slavic won $250. Cody Smart $175. Rick Palmer finished 8th and got the goose egg, but he made the main. Pro Open, John Anderson won that. Eddie King and Richard Fleming. And then Pro Cruiser was Todd Slavic, Frank Post, Richie Anderson, Hans Nissan, Rick Palmer, Kevin Adelite, and Neil Allen, and Eric Roop. A Pro was won by Dennis Pulch, Tim Kakarus, and Mike Moore. I probably said that wrong. Sorry, Tim. 17 Expert was won by Terry Tennant, followed by Charles Townsend and Billy Harrison. So Terry did his thing in 17 over Expert. Eric Harder won 16 Expert. Eddie Sigmund won 15X. Ricky Gilbert picked up 14X. 13X was Todd Steen. 12X was John Gonzalez. And we'll stop right there because I'm going to lose my voice. All right, this is a great, great article. Love it. Got the BMX Action hat. This looks like a cycling hat, but these were kind of popular in the 80s. And this is what you get when you subscribe to the magazine. $29.95 will get you 2 years, and $15.95 would get you a full year of BMX Action. All right, let's keep on going. Ooh, look at the Boss ad here. Boss was getting into freestyle. Wow. I think I mentioned this before. If anybody has a Boss freestyle frame, that seems super rare to me. It's probably worth a ton of money. And Boss is really on it's getting his second life, man. I was at Frogtown, like I said, and oh man, a lot of Boss riders were there, and I went to a state qualifier and I filmed it. A lot of Boss riders there, and Boss is back on the map, man. Their stuff is amazing looking. It's one thing I'd love to see though, is you see a lot of Boss riders. I want to see them riding a Boss. That would be awesome because these frames are amazing. I think they're still awesome today. We got Peregrine here. and then Rockville BMX, and then finally Why Just Scoot When You Can Zoot. And this is the final ad for this magazine for GT. Oh, I was mistaken. We got outtakes here, and it looks like we have Chris Smoller and, wait a minute, in case you haven't caught on by now, guys like Chris Smoller and Tim Hall, oh, that's Tim Hall, are leading the way in more innovative jumping styles. And that's true, because these guys were actually starting to put a lot of radness into some of the pros jumping, so that's really cool. And then we have Bad to the Bone. Look at this Hunter ad. That's really cool. Looks like a Depeche Mode cover or something, but that's awesome. And then finally, oh wow! Now, before I flip this magazine over, I gotta say that aerobics in the 80s was massive, so that's gonna explain this whole look that this gal has here. This is great, and this is a Torker ad here. I love this ad. This is just amazing. And that's it, guys. We did it. April 1987, BMX Action's in the books. I definitely enjoyed this one. That was a lot of fun. We'll be knocking out a BMX race video probably next week. I did not get a chance to go to the state finals on Sunday. I just had too many commitments, so I couldn't get out there and film it, so I apologize. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next one.